Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sean, also known as The Beast, and this is a quick update. Just a couple of albums I've been spinning this week. I was fortunate enough, myself and Mrs. Beast, to spend some time in the company of quite a few of our VC comrades down in Manchester at the Frozen Soul and Creeping Death gig. It was a very, very warm evening, fantastic night. We missed the first band, Disengagement, unfortunately. Then Foreseen came on, very hardcore punk, really, really good. I really enjoyed them. Creeping Death came on, and for me they were my highlight of the evening, but I did prefer Creeping Death's material prior to the gig, so I was maybe a little bit biased in that respect. And then Frozen Soul came on, and the gentleman, I don't know his name, the lead singer, he really turned it into an event, and he was really good at what he did. Musically, the three bands that we saw were all solid. My one complaint, and I wasn't the only one complaining about it, was the price of the merch. Now, I've said before about venue tax and stuff. I understand that, and a lot of bands then have to increase the prices slightly. However, all of the bands were asking for £20 for a CD, £30 for a vinyl. I think it was something along the lines of £35 for a t-shirt and £45 for a long sleeve, which to me is just, it's far too much. So consequently, I certainly didn't buy any merch. I'm not sure if any other boys or girls from the VC did, but yeah. So anyway, after that, myself and Mrs. Beast then travelled up to Newcastle the following morning, and were trekked for an evening of old school heavy metal from Air Force, Alcatraz, Raven, and the reason I wanted to go was the Mighty Girls School. Been a Girls School fan since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and they never let you down. They always put on a hell of a show. All the bands did. Trillions in Newcastle was absolutely heaving, to a point where it was, well, if you go in the bar, you better get 3 pints at a time, because it'll take you an hour to get back to the bar again. But anyway, that's by the by. So, most of the weekend was spent travelling, gigging, recovering. But obviously there's still time to listen to music. So, let's get on with it. First up is Necrotic. These gentlemen are from California, and they play death metal. This album is called The Labyrinth. It is a 2016 compilation out on Tank Crimes Records, and it's their first 3 demos all in one place. This is proper old school death metal done really well, and it's interesting to hear the progression from demo 1 to demo 3. Now, the last Necrotic full length I thought was an absolute blinder, so when I saw this whilst I was down in Manchester, it was a bit of a no-brainer really to grab it, and I'm glad I did. It is really good. It's only I say only, it's one of those, yeah, I mean the centre label is pretty cool, but again, clear vinyl just doesn't cut it for me, unfortunately. I mean, it sounds fine, but that's not an issue. The inner lyrics, some photos of the guys, and I can spin it round and fit it in. Fantastic piece of artwork. Yeah, they play, as I said, they play old school death metal. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're not trying to be anything different. It's just a really solid and interesting progression through their 3 demos, and it sort of gives you an idea of why they came up with, or how they came up with the sound that they now absolutely destroy speakers with. So yeah, that's Necrotic. Next up, again, it's death metal. This is Pustilent, and I will definitely have to read the title. It's called Beliefs of Dead Stargazers and Soothsayers. This came out in 2023 on Rotted Life. These gentlemen are from Australia. This is their debut full length. I believe there's an EP out before this. This is punishing death metal. They've managed to capture that old school death metal sound, but put their own modern twist on it. It's savage. It's heavy. It's got crunching guitars. It's got the percussion section, rhythm section even, is so tight and helps the overall energy of the record. The production's superb as well, and it's just one of those albums you put it on and the riff bass is pretty much firmly in place for the full duration of the album. This is on Black Wax, which is always a good thing. The inner has a photo of the gentleman looking mean and moody on one side, and the lyrics on the other side. So, but yeah, it's this is a really solid release, and if I'd have picked it up last year, I'm pretty sure it would have made some type of an appearance in my album of the year list. I mean, obviously, the amount of times I've said that since the start of this year, the list would have been 50 odd albums long. But yeah, I'm definitely going to look out for the EP and keep an eye on what these gents are doing, because there's something down there in Australia that's creating some really good modern death metal, and this is no exception. It's well worth a listen. So if you can find it anywhere, steal it off your grandma, you know, anything like that, I'd definitely say it's worth it. So that's Pustilent. The next and last one in this is, I want to say beforehand, I'm not sure my vocabulary is broad enough to fully do this justice. This is an incredible piece of work. Now, the band are called Fucked Up, and that would normally put me off, but I caught a snippet of one of these songs that came up, suggested listen on YouTube or somewhere. The album is called Year of the Horse. It came out in 2021, again on Tank Crimes. Now, Fucked Up are described as a hardcore punk band, and parts of this are hardcore punk, undeniably. This album was released in 4 separate parts initially. I believe it was on their Bandcamp page. The shortest song on here is over 19 minutes. The overall runtime is over 94 minutes. So you need to be committed to spending an hour and a half of your life immersed in this. And I promise you, if you take the time to be immersed fully with it, you're in for a treat. This has, basically, it's a story about a horse called Percival. There's some like cosmic zodiac type thing. Like I say, it was released as it's the 9th installment in the Zodiac series, and she escapes from certain death at the hand of this evil sheriff that's under control of the even more evil wizard and the band of merry posse and stuff like that. It sounds like, what the hell's Sean going on about? And I said, my vocabulary is not clever enough. It's basically, it's a story, it's a concept album from start to finish about the horse, her escape, and her hopeful journey back to her kin, wherever that may be. This starts off with a very melodic, almost orchestral piece of music, which is then interspersed with what you would expect a punk band to sound like: angry, shouty vocals, crushing guitars, riffs for days, blast beats, and just as you start getting into the swing of it, it goes completely off on a different tangent. There is some female spoken word on it. There are quite a lot of guest musicians. It has things like there's some choral pieces in it. There are trumpets in it. There's parts of it where you would be mistaken. If you walked in, you could think, oh, is this into a Ennio Morricone soundtrack of a spaghetti western? I would suggest, if you do listen to it, that you find the lyrics online, because it comes with a book and it's a very well presented piece with artwork and such like. But the only thing is, there's only snippets of the songs, sort of giving you a very brief outline of the story. So I would say for better the enjoyment of it, find the lyrics. It's on green vinyl. Yeah, I've listened to this 5 times now in the weekend. So like I say, just over 94 minute runtime. It's not a short album, but every single time I've listened to it so far, there's been something new, something I've missed previously, and I can't recommend this high enough, as long as you're prepared to put in the 90 odd minutes. Now, you know, it's only 4 songs. There are parts of this that are doom. There are parts of it that are like really nice clean vocals by, I think it's 2 different ladies actually. There's a gentleman that does some spoken parts. It's just, overall, it's just a fantastic piece of work. Like I say, it's not something you're going to stick on while you're doing the ironing. You need to properly immerse yourself in it. I've listened to the last twice I've listened to it with my headphones on, and it just literally, it's sort of if a spaghetti western met Dungeons and Dragons with an evil wizard and a mad hangman all together in a film, this is the soundtrack to it. It's absolutely, I can't praise this highly enough. Now, I've got no idea if the rest of the Zodiac series are as complex as this. I haven't really looked into it that much yet, but I'll definitely be looking out for them. I think they've maybe been released as a single and maybe a 12-inch single and such like, but yeah, it's now I've got no idea what the non-Zodiac work that Fucked Up have produced is like. I would assume it's probably just hardcore punk, but there's parts of this that are almost progressive metal, and so I had a feeling I might struggle to describe this one and do it justice, but it's just such a fantastic album. I thought it deserved to be shown, and hopefully me bumbling on will have intrigued a few people enough to check it out. So in the background we are listening to a northeast punk band called Loaded 44. I was fortunate enough to see these a couple of years ago. Just purely walked into a rock bar one night and they were getting ready to play, and they are superb. It's proper old school punk rock. Female vocalist Becky, superb voice, and just really, really good punk rock. You know, it's nothing that's gonna blow you away. It's definitely, I wouldn't say it's a necessity, but if you get a chance to listen to it, or even better if you get the chance to see them live, because they put a hell of a show on, then I would do that. So that's it for this one. Thank you again if you stuck out this long. The subs count's still going up, and I keep saying I'm going to do a giveaway, and I am. I'm just trying to think of something that's worthwhile, not just answer a question type thing. To all the new subscribers and to the people that might be just popping in and saying, what's that for idiot talking about? Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Always a pleasure to speak to you in the comments. Appreciate all the thumbs up, and like I said, the new subscribers, the old subscribers, the people that keep coming back, it's very much appreciated. So on that note, we'll say tatty bye for now, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!